Good evening. Welcome to the Massillon City Council meeting for Monday, August the 5th, 2024. We have in attendance with us tonight the following city officials.
Mayor Jamie Slutes. Here. Safety Service Director Renee Baker. Here. Chief Deputy Auditor Stephanie Myers. Here. Assistant Law Director Edmund Mack. Here. Director of Development Ted Hernkane. Here. Chief Building Official Frank Silla. Here. Is there anyone from administration I missed? That's it, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Under number 5 on tonight's agenda is where the public can speak on any item that appears on tonight's agenda. And then under number 17 is where the public can speak on any item that does not appear on tonight's agenda as well. I want to remind everyone with a cell phone at this time to please turn it down, set it on vibrate as well. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Brian Huth.
Here.
Creamer.
Present.
Cunningham.
Present.
Gregg.
Here.
Harwick Smith. Lewis.
Present.
Lombardi.
Here.
Ray.
Here.
And Snee.
Here.
Roll call of 8 present.
Councilman Lombardi.
Thank you, President Slater. I'd like to make a motion to excuse Councilwoman Harwick Smith.
Second by Councilman Snee. Roll call, please.
Creamer.
Yes.
Cunningham.
Yes.
Gregg.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Lombardi.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Snee.
Yes.
And Brian Huth.
Yes.
8 yes to excuse Councilwoman Harwick Smith.
Tonight's invocation is by Councilwoman Cunningham.
Dear Lord, as we gather here to guide our city, let us remember to open our minds. Let us be guided by understanding and justice to make the best decisions for the people of our city. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, are the minutes of the previous meeting transcribed and open for public viewing?
Yes, they are.
Are there any additions or corrections that need to be made?
No, there are not.
If not, then the minutes stand approved as written. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome.
Item number 5, remarks of delegations of citizens to matters that are on the agenda this evening. This is the part of the agenda where the community may speak on a topic that appears on tonight's agenda. If you'd like to speak on something on the agenda this evening, please come forward, state your name, address, the ward you live in, the topic you wish to discuss, and please limit your comments to 4 minutes or less. Seeing none, we move forward. Item number 6, new and miscellaneous business. At this time, I'd like to answer a few questions that were asked at the last council meeting. They were asked by Gail Danzy. First one, of course, is council governed by Robert's Rules of Order? Yes, pursuant to Rule 1.1 of 121.02. Question number 2, has the Equal Opportunity Officer been posted yet, or has anyone been contacted to fill the position? I refer back to the meeting of February the 20th, 2024, and the response by Councilman Lewis. This has been brought up a few times, and we're trying to get it clear and figure out the best way to respond to this would be to give a little background for the new council members, for the public in 2022, late 2022, because it was brought to council at the recommendation or council of our law department that the configuration at that time was that we had an EEO officer and our civil service officer were all in one position, and that was how it was being managed. Due to some way it's supposed to be arranged as far as the oversight of each of those offices individually, that was deemed not appropriate and had to be broken apart in order that we would have proper oversight of supervision of those two positions. So council did do that in late 2022. In 2023, the EEO officer position was not filled by the administration that was in office at the time. Coming in 2024, that position was still open, but Mr. Lewis has spoken with the administration, and they do value with this position that it does bring to the city. However, the reality is that this position only warrants about 20 hours of work a week. So what they're doing is trying to see how they can have this position, as well as other job functions that are important and bring value to the city, so that they can create a full-time position that would be more lucrative and valuable to people who would want to apply. Obviously, if you have a full-time position, you're going to get your best candidates to come because you have the better pay and you have the benefits. As it stands now, it would be a part-time position without any benefits. So in speaking with the administration, they're currently evaluating a few other needs within the city that they would once again think and would gain value to us, and then would bring a proposal to us if they have something configured that would make sense to the city and would also address this issue. Question number 3. Is there anyone pursuing state monies for the historic Lincoln Way? The answer is the engineers here are always looking for different grants and ways to fund projects for the city of Massillon. Number 4, are there any open forums with council where the public can speak to council prior to council meetings? Many organizations set up question and answer sessions at various times of the year, but plan mostly before the election. All council members are available via phone or email to answer any questions the community may have. Please visit the website at MassillonOhio.gov for contact information on all council members. Thank you. Item number 7, introduction of ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance number 71-2024.
An ordinance authorizing the Chief of Police on behalf of the Massillon Police Department to accept a donation from the Fraternal Order of Eagles number 190 for the annual National Night Out and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lombardi.
Thank you, President Slater. This is for a $1,000 donation that the Eagles is making to the National Night Out, as discussed in our work session. I do plan on moving forward with this. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Seeing none, I make...
In the public app, I'm just wondering where.
No. Seeing none, I make a motion that we suspend the rules requiring 3 readings and bring ordinance number 71-2024 forward for a vote.
I get a second, please? Councilman Snee. Roll call for suspension, please.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Snee,
Yes.
Brian Huth,
Yes.
and Creamer.
Yes.
8 yes for suspension.
And for passage, please.
Gregg,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Snee,
Yes.
Brian Huth,
Yes.
Creamer,
Yes.
and Cunningham.
Yes.
8 yes for passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ordinance number 71-2024 has passed. Ordinance number 72-2024.
An ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service and Safety of the City of Massillon, Ohio, to accept a donation from the Fraternal Order of Eagles number 190 for the purpose to outfit the animal control vehicle and purchase related equipment and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lewis.
Yes, so this was discussed. This is $5,000 that would go towards equipment for the animal control officers so they can get operating. As noted, it does have emergency language in it. As we know, emergency language, what it does is essentially allows us to go into effect immediately, not having to wait 30 days before it can be acted upon. Are there any questions from members of council or discussion? Seeing none, I make a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings, bringing ordinance number 72-2024 forward for a vote.
Second by Councilman Gregg. Roll call, please, for suspension.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Snee,
Yes.
Brian Huth,
Yes.
Creamer,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
and Gregg.
Yes.
8 yes for suspension.
And for passage.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Snee,
Yes.
Brian Huth,
Yes.
Creamer,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
and Lewis.
Yes.
8 yes for passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ordinance number 72-2024 has passed. Ordinance number 73-2024.
An ordinance making certain appropriations from the unappropriated balance of the 1234 Parks and Recreation Fund for the Legends of Massillon Golf Course for the year ending December 31st, 2024, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lewis?
Yes, this is a $50,000 appropriation. It is to be used for the ongoing bunker replacement and rehabilitation program at the golf course. They would like to get started on this immediately, considering that we are already in the middle of the golf season. Are there any questions or discussion this evening? Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion suspending the rules requiring 3 readings, bringing ordinance number 73-2024 forward for a vote.
Second by Councilman Gregg. Roll call for suspension, please.
Ray,
Yes.
Snee,
Yes.
Brian Huth,
Yes.
Creamer,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
and Lombardi.
Yes.
8 yes for suspension.
And for passage.
Snee,
Yes.
Brian Huth,
Yes.
Creamer,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
and Ray.
Yes.
8 yes for passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ordinance number 73-2024 has passed. Ordinance number 74-2024.
An ordinance making certain appropriations from the unappropriated balance of the 3112 donation fund for the year ending December 31st, 2024, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lewis?
This ordinance isn't working in conjunction with ordinance number 71, where we just approved the acceptance of the $1,000 donation. This ordinance would actually be the appropriation of that $1,000 for the National Night Out. Is there any further questions or discussion this evening? Seeing none, I make a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings, bring ordinance number 74-2024 forward for a vote.
Second by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call for suspension, please.
Brian Huth,
Yes.
Creamer,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
and Snee.
Yes.
8 yes for suspension.
And for passage.
Creamer,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Snee,
Yes.
and Brian Huth.
Yes.
8 yes for passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ordinance number 74-2024 has passed. Resolution number 24-2024.
A resolution approving the 2025 Stark County Alternative Tax Budget for the City of Massillon, Ohio, as listed on the attached Exhibit A, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lewis?
Mr. President, I'd like to call forward the Deputy Auditor.
Good evening.
What is the time frame that you guys have to have this submitted?
August 20th.
August 20th?
So your next council meeting is the 19th.
Okay, so we have time. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions or discussion? I guess my first question would be, does anyone on council feel like they would like to have more time to review this before we pass it or move on it?
Councilman Gregg?
I just say, I don't think it hurts if we have the time to have some more time to review. I don't think it hurts anything. If we don't have the time, no, I'd say I'm ready to pass tonight, but you're sure if we pass on the 19th, we're okay?
I mean, it just says on it due August 20th to the Stark County Auditor.
I'm okay with that. I just wanted to make sure. All right. Thank you. First reading.
Ordinance number 24, resolution ordinance number 24-2024 had received its first reading. Item number 8, unfinished business.
I have nothing.
Number 9, petitions and general communications.
I have nothing.
Item number 10, bills, accounts, and claims.
I have bills.
Uh-oh.
We have a bill in the amount of $465 payable to Walter H. Drain Company for our web hosting fee, and another bill in the amount of $127 payable to U.S. Bank Equipment Finance, which is our August payment for our copier, for the total of $592.
Councilman Lewis?
I just have a technical question that we could look into. I believe we get the U.S. Bank Equipment Finance bill every month, correct?
Correct.
Do we have a means where we can just authorize you to pay that every month for the year instead of having to approve every time?
That would help because this is the first time I've gotten it before the 21st because of the way we have our meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And like if I hadn't have got it on the 29th, I believe it was, it wouldn't have been heard until the 19th of August for the approval by council. And I would have had to wait another week when we have our committee meeting because they only mail checks out on Mondays. So if you would give me that blanket privilege, that would be great. Because so many times we've had to pay a late fee.
Yeah. So I'm thinking if we could maybe to discuss with the law department to see if there's a means for us to, because it's always $127, correct?
It is, except for when it's late, then it's $133.35.
So if we could somehow just pass something that says you can pay this invoice on a monthly basis for the entirety of 2024, and then all she has to do is get you to sign off on it. That would probably be beneficial moving forward. We just have to know what the mechanism is to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Councilman Lombardi?
I was going to suggest the same thing Mr. Lewis said, but then she could report it that it was paid on this, so that we're aware of it every month, that it has been paid and what date or whatever.
That would
But
be great.
I would definitely support that.
Councilman Ray?
And even also as a suggestion, if we have the ability to pay it, do we have the ability to pay it like yearly and you get it discount for the yearly payment? You know what I mean? You just pay one check and boom. If we're satisfied with the service of the U.S. Bank Equipment's finance.
Yes, it's a lease.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So maybe by next month's bill, if we can find out if there's a mechanism, and then we can move it through council and save that penalty. With all that discussion, I motion that we pay the bills.
All right. Second by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call, please.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Snee,
Yes.
Brian Huth,
Yes.
and Creamer.
Yes.
8 yes to pay the bills.
The clerk will pay the bills and charge them to the proper accounts. Item number 11, reports from city officials.
Yes, we have the treasurer's report for June 2024 and the auditor's report for July 2024, and they were mailed out to you Friday. Did everybody get their copy?
Councilman Lewis.
Make a motion that we accept the auditor's report?
Second by Councilman Gregg. Roll call, please.
Gregg,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Snee,
Yes.
Brian Huth,
Yes.
Creamer,
Yes.
and Cunningham.
Yes.
8 yes to accept the auditor's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item number 12, reports of committees. Our next work session will be Monday, August the 12th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Item number 13, resolutions and requests of council members. Seeing none, we move forward. Item number 14, call of the calendar. Moving forward, item number 15, third reading ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance number 60-2024.
Excuse me. An ordinance enacting Chapter 778, Adult Use Cannabis Control, under Part 7, Business Regulation Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Massillon, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Creamer?
Thank you, Mr. President. As stated, this ordinance is enacting Chapter 778, Adult Use Cannabis Control. We've discussed the language in this ordinance throughout the previous work sessions. We all should have received a copy of proposed amended ordinance for this. There has been 7 changes to the initial version of this ordinance. Let's see. The first change, I just want to review all the changes just to make sure everybody understands. There was just a numbering change. 776.02 was changed to 778.02. There was a non-refundable application fee changed from $50,000 to $5,000. There was another non-refundable application fee of $50,000 changed to $5,000. There was another non-refundable fee, and there are different types of non-refundable fees of $100,000 to $10,000, and an additional non-refundable application fee of $50,000 to $5,000. We did add language to no more than 2 local provisional license and 2 local operating license may be issued under this section. And then we did strike through a portion of the ordinance that was in red font for all of you. Are there any questions or concerns regarding this? Because at this time, I would like to make a motion to accept these changes and this amended ordinance 60-2024.
You have a question, Councilman Ray? No. Okay. Second by Councilman Gregg. What's that?
I'm seconding.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Snee,
Yes.
Brian Huth,
Yes.
Creamer,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
and Gregg.
Yes.
8 yes to amend ordinance number 60 per the notified changes by Councilwoman Creamer.
First
Councilman Kramer?
reading.
Thank you. Ordinance number 60-2024 has received its first reading. Ordinance number 61-2024.
An ordinance amending Part 11 Planning and Zoning Code, Chapters 1163, 1165, and 1167 of Title V zoning districts of the codified ordinances of the City of Massillon, Ohio, to allow as a permitted use in all B1, B2, and B3 business districts, excluding the historic district, adult-use cannabis operators, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kramer?
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance number 61-2024 goes along with ordinance number 60-2024. We all received a copy of the proposed changes in this ordinance, striking through excluding the historic district. Does anyone have any questions or concerns with this? If not, I'd like to make a motion that we amend ordinance number 61-2024. And bring forward for a vote.
Second by Councilman Gregg. Roll call, please.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Snee,
Yes.
Brian Huth,
Yes.
Creamer,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
and Lewis.
Yes.
8 yes to amend ordinance number 61.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Councilman Kramer?
First reading.
Thank you. Ordinance number 61-2024 has received its first reading. Ordinance number 62-2024.
An ordinance amending Part 11 Planning and Zoning Code, Chapter 1181 of Title V, Accessory Buildings, Section 1181.01, paren C in paren and paren E in paren of the codified ordinances of the City of Massillon, Ohio, per the attached Exhibit A.
Councilman Cunningham?
Thank you, President. We've had several discussions with this with building director, and I don't believe there's, I'm sorry,
Mr. Silla.
Mr. Silla. And I don't believe we have any more questions at this time, do we? This is a third reading, so I would like to bring this forward this evening.
Second by Councilman Lombardi. Any
Thank you.
questions? Okay. Roll call, please. Spencer? Actually, for passage. For passage, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Ray,
Yes.
Snee,
Yes.
Brian Huth,
Yes.
Creamer,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
and Lombardi.
Yes.
8 yes for passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ordinance number 62-2024 has passed. Ordinance number 63-2024.
An ordinance amending Part 11, Planning and Zoning Code, Chapter 1121 of Title III, Construction of Language Definitions, Section 1121.02, paren 9, in paren, of the codified ordinances of the City of Massillon, Ohio, per the attached Exhibit A.
Councilman Cunningham?
Thank you, Councilman, or President Slater. Again, this is ordinance number 62-2024 went along with ordinance number 61-2024. We had discussions with Mr. Silva again. Does anybody have any questions or discussion on this? If not, I would like to bring this forward for a vote tonight.
Second by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call for passage, please.
Snee,
Yes.
Brian Huth,
Yes.
Creamer,
Yes.
Cunningham, Gregg,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
and Ray.
Yes.
8 yes for passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ordinance number 63-2024 has passed. Item number 16, second reading ordinances and resolutions.
We have none.
Item number 17, remarks of delegations of citizens to matters not on the agenda. Is there anyone present that would like to speak on a topic which did not appear on the agenda? If so, please come forward, state your name, the ward you live in, the topic you wish to discuss, and please limit your comments to 4 minutes or less. Thank you.
Yes, I'm David McCune, 6th Ward, Massillon. Here tonight to discuss once again the actions of Mr. Snee when he showed up at my house at 9:30 at night. In a recent article, Ms. Cunningham found it necessary to as much as call me a liar. I don't take kindly to that. In fact, to address people like you, I've offered to take a lie detector test to prove that everything I've said is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I offered that to Mr. Snee, and he laughed. I heard that you don't partake of social media sites. You suggested that maybe you look into the Massillon Live comment section and the number of people that this man has coerced and tried to intimidate on social media sites. There's been numerous. It's not just me. In fact, this past weekend, I received a Facebook message from his latest terrorist victim. I refer to him as the keyboard terrorist now. This person has even sent me screenshots of numerous coercive comments this man made to him simply because they didn't agree. Mr. Slater, you said you abide by the rules of Robert. You had myself and another person come make formal complaints about this gentleman. It's time for you to act. And it's time for you to act now. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hello.
My name's David Crestus. I don't live in Massillon anymore. I moved to Canton. I live at 626 Walnut Avenue Northeast. I'm here tonight to talk about what has happened to me in the Canton court. Back in 2020, I filed against Shearing Real Estate Company under no heating and no air conditioning. And I filed on Matt Shearing, and the whole time I'm watching him sell drugs. And I never really mentioned that.
Next thing I know, this guy's evicted me, and I'm telling the cops that he's selling drugs out of his barber shop. And the Perry Police illegally evicted by the Massillon court in December 14th of 2020 when the CDC COVID monitoring evictions ran to July of 2021. The $100,000 fine for sharing real estate, and the court that did that, I think it's $500,000. I can't get no help from anybody. But these antics that have been going on here for a long time. The latest thing that I looked into was the Kendall Tavern, Joey Barberi. This guy had the open pit that burnt here in 1988 in Massillon. That building had 2 fires within a week. The guy collected $94,000, but when the building come back, it's worth $527,000, got a carport, all block building, air conditioning, and somebody laundered their drug money or robbed an insurance company. I'll be going to the Perry Police on those matters. But back long ago at 2840, I had a corporation, and I was building a building at 2840 Lincoln Way East. I had the contract for the carpentry because I'm a carpenter. When I got done, I left, and Keith Holland, the Marine, came in there and he backfilled the place before there were rods or slurry mix put in and knocked the wall down. Mr. Edward Elam blamed me for that, and I didn't even own a shovel. I am just flabbergasted at what I've been through in this court system. 92, you had to have a contract to even get into court. I'm a carpenter. What am I getting sued for in a court where this guy don't have a contract? I mean, I looked into the law. And then once I filed on Matt Schuring about that stuff and embezzling his money, I found myself hit in the head in the Massillon jail as I'm walking through there and dead over in Affinity Hospital. Everybody act like nobody hit me in the head when I'm walking in the jail. It was just totally ridiculous what was going on. I've watched these people sell drugs my whole life. Joey Barberi, he had the Fun Fest Arcade, then he had Rock City, then he had Bullwinkles, the Chinkos, the Open Pit, Coppers, which I helped build with no permit, and that's where I'm going right now. After they wrecked and destroyed my business, I find myself working for Joey Barberi, building Coppers with Tom West, selling drugs, relative of Lieutenant Jerry Wish of the Kent Police Department, and Donnie Draklovich, a felon. At that time, Star Serby stepped in and told Joey he needed a permit. He got on the phone. Edward Wheelam come in 3 minutes later, stated he owned the city and that if Star Serby wanted to keep his job, he better leave. Star Serby left. I have a certificate of occupancy. There's never been a building permit paid for, and they've been robbing the city for a long time. When I told them about Jeff Lehman at 516 Geiger with a mountain of marijuana, a Vietnam veteran, John Fregg about this, he was accused of selling drugs. When I told the Perry School about Jim Garrow selling drugs off the football team, an honor guard Marine's son, I was charged with selling drugs when I worked 7 days a week. And so I believe these people are doing things in their Army rhetoric and outside the law. Quite frankly, I've watched them sell drugs. So I'm here tonight to tell you that my father was a 6-stripe master sergeant called Colonel, linked to the World Terrorist Command Center, and I met Major Mike Healy of the Green Beret, who hangs on the Wall of Honor as a general. I've just now contacted the Army Criminal Investigation Division in Quantico, Virginia, about Fred Sturgis, the FBI, Edward Elam and his relatives selling dope out of these bars and making ridiculous rulings. I was threatened in court to be thrown into jail because I wanted to pro se my way and not hire a lawyer that would lie or chuck me under a bus. And I guess I'm done here. I'm going to the township meeting tomorrow in Perry because they won't file charges. And I've had 7 fires, 4 dead dogs, a raped wife, and fondled nieces. Thank you.
Thank you.
Could you sign the sign-in sheet, please?
I did when I came in.
Okay, thank you.
And you got to sign up or you can't talk. And then we give you 3 minutes.
Good evening.
Good evening, Bishop G.L. Evans II with the Stark County Black Caucus, 4th Ward here in Massillon. I found myself looking up at the park again, so I came back to address the bathroom that was promised to 4th Ward. This was promised back last year. When we brought it to your attention, it was said that the bathroom was already fabricated. They were just waiting to install it. They didn't install it because it was at the end of the summer and they would have had to lock it up. So now we are almost in the middle of summer and we are still with a porta potty that keeps getting knocked over at L.C. Jones Park in Massillon. So I'm here again to bring it back up to the attention of the council that L.C. Jones still is without a bathroom, running water facilities, and we're still operating out of a porta potty. So,
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Councilman Lewis.
We're going to go off script a little bit, but I'd like to make a motion that we go into executive session, discuss personnel matters. I'd invite all members of council, the council president, and the law department.
I got a second, please. Second by Councilman Kramer. The enter executive session. Roll call, please.
Brian Huth,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
and Snee.
Yes.
8 yes to enter into executive session.
Councilman Lombardi.
I'd like to make a motion that we exit executive session.
Second by Councilman Ray. Roll call, please.
Kramer,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Snee,
Yes.
and Brian Huth.
Yes.
8 yes to exit executive session.
At this time, I would like to address the Mr. McCune situation with Mr. Snee. And with that being said, I did contact Mr. Snee and Mr. McCune after what took place. I was not there. So basically what I have is Mr. McCune's comments, Mr. Snee's comments. I did contact the police department and did receive the police report. The police department did hold an investigation and stated the case is complete. If there would have been charges warranted, the officer would have taken that route. At this time, as council president, I deem this situation closed. Councilwoman Kramer. I'm sorry, Councilwoman Cunningham.
I believe we should be adjourned.
Second, please, by Councilwoman Kramer. Roll call, please.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Gregg,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Snee,
Yes.
Brian Huth,
Yes.
and Kramer.
Yes.
8 yes to adjourn.